Hey guys, good morning to every single one of you on this Wednesday morning, on Wednesday, the 18th of October, 2023 this year. Hope you're all looking forward to today. Hope you're all looking forward to the end of this week, and I hope you're all looking forward to another brand new weekend in October 2023 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour, mate, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to put that notification bell on at all times you receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite, Chapter 4, Season 4 Last Resort, Rocket League Season 12 Porsche, more previews, more match reactions, more EA Sports FC 24 content, and much more brand new stuff planned for the last few months in 2023 this year on this channel. Good morning and early morning to all you legends and all you legendary people. And we're back for Premier League football has returned after, quite frankly, a boring, pathetic, and quite, in my opinion, a boring international break. 2 weeks of boring Gareth Southgate ball, watching England beat Australia and Italy. Manchester United are back this weekend coming, Saturday the 21st of October. It is Sheffield United away at Bramall Lane on match day 8 of the 23-24 Premier League season. Thank God Premier League football is back. Match day of the Premier League season. Manchester United away to Sheffield United, bottom of the league, Sheffield United. And yet again for Manchester United, it is a must-win game. Sheffield United this season have been, in my opinion, quite frankly, how is Sheffield United in the Premier League? Like, their last 4 games, losing to Fulham, Tottenham, Newcastle and West Ham, conceding 8 against Newcastle, 3 against Fulham, 2 against Tottenham, and then conceding 3 against West Ham. So Sheffield United in their last 4 games have conceded nearly 14 to 15 goals per average of a game, especially losing 8-0 at home to Newcastle United, which was a very boring and quite frankly embarrassing performance from a Sheffield United team, who did come up as runners-up from the Championship, finishing second behind Championship winners Burnley. Sheffield United are one of those teams this season that, everybody expected the 3 promoted teams to do very well, and they were going to give the Premier League a run for their money, and they were going to do very well to compete amongst the great teams that we've already got in this division. Well, quite frankly, if Manchester United can't beat Sheffield United this weekend, there is something quite clearly wrong inside this bloody football club, because I do think this is going to be a Manchester United win. I do think we'll have back-to-back wins in 2 matches in a row. And I expect Man United to beat bottom of the league Sheffield United. I mean, it would be quite frankly embarrassing if Manchester United were to get nothing out of this game. It'd be quite annoying if they can't come away with 3 points. And it'd be quite embarrassing to witness from a fan's point of view, where Manchester United scraped past Brentford 2-1 thanks to Scott McTominay. If United can't beat Sheffield United, you might as well pack up and go home. Because at the end of the day, Sheffield United are going to go down. They're going to get relegated. Paul Hickenbottom has done a bad job at this football club for Sheffield United. And for me, they are the whipping boys of the Premier League. They are going to go straight back down at the first attempt. And the thing is, they'll probably go down and they'll come straight back up again. And then they'll go down and come straight back up again. It is an absolute circle of life for Sheffield United fans and supporters at their football club. And I mean, your last 4 games, it's been quite embarrassing to witness the Sheffield United team. That Sheffield United are a much better team than Sheffield Wednesday. And you've come up to the Premier League, you've embarrassed yourself, you're getting whooped every week, and your football's really, really boring. And I think Sheffield United know they're already doomed. I think they know this game against Man United, they know Man United have already won. But I wouldn't count on Man United to win, because if you're scraping past Brentford and you've got Sheffield United away, this isn't going to be as easy a game as people might think it's going to be. I think this game, Sheffield United are going to give Man United a game. I think it is going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be an easy 3 points. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, because they know Man United as well as Sheffield United, both teams are very vulnerable, not just defensively, but in the midfield and the surplus requirements in the attack. This team is a make or break for both clubs, really. I think if Sheffield United were to lose, they are going to go down. I think they're going to go down anyway. And I think for Manchester United, if you don't win this game this weekend, then categorically the season is over. I still believe the season is over anyway, with the news that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to end up buying a 25% minority stake in this football club, and the football club is going to go 10 times backwards even more. this season could be over if we do not win this game. It is make or break for Man United. We have got to start turning wins into points. We have got to start climbing up that Premier League table. We have to close in on top four. We have to get European football again next season, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very hard, long season with no European football. And you think Man United might turn into Chelsea. It could be one of those situations where this football club is going to find itself in a situation where we are screwed. We are fucked, and we are basically over. The club is RIP, rest in peace. So I do expect Man United to come out of this game with 3 points. I do expect to win, and I do expect those players to step up and perform. But with all the uncertainty requiring the ownership, the injury crisis we have still got, even after this 2-week boring international break, Man United are still going to find it tough to put a squad together, because if the news is true that, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia are long-term absences, they will not be involved for Saturday's game, which is yet again a major, major blow for Erik ten Hag going into this weekend's game, where we could have done with some of these injured players being back from injury. I mean, it's just not getting any better for this football club. An international break where these games shouldn't really be played in a hectic season with a hectic schedule, and players are picking up injuries so easy at the moment. I mean, left, right and centre, these footballers are picking up injuries more than a bloody paper cut. At the moment, it is very, very embarrassing. I do expect United to get over the line. I do expect this team to perform, and I do expect United to come away with the win. I mean, if we don't beat Sheffield United, then at the end of the day, this football club is only going to get worse. I think things behind the scene aren't any better anyway. So I wouldn't expect things to be all sunshine and roses. Things behind the scenes at this football club is still very, very bad. And it is, from a fan point of view, very, very embarrassing. We are not that great. We are not that consistent. We are not performing well as a team. We are basically getting by thanks to players that we don't really want, that are surplus to requirements, and we're having to play them in the team because our goals have dried up. Our strike force is abysmal. Our midfield is a joke. Our defence is crumbling. And unfortunately, Man United are not fixing all these problems, and we end up in a big mess. And I think if the mess continues at the weekend and we don't take this Brentford result as a positive and we take it into the weekend as a negative, Sheffield United could easily come away from Bramall Lane and beat us. They are not a good team. I mean, you're losing to Fulham. You're losing to Tottenham when you were winning. You got battered 8-0 by Newcastle. And as for West Ham, you stood no chance. So those Sheffield United players we all know are on the decline. We all know that that squad is on thin shape. And I think the injury that Chris Basham faced last weekend, which was a horrific injury for Chris Basham, which we all wish Chris, a full and speedy recovery. I think that is going to derail the whole Sheffield United movement. I think at the moment, that injury is going to be in the back of the players' minds. I think that injury is going to cost Sheffield United going forward. And I do expect, I don't expect Sheffield United to be able to give Manchester United a game with the quality we've got in the positions we've got available currently. But any more injuries this weekend and any more injuries that come back from this international break, United are going to be scratching their heads thinking, how the hell do we pick a squad? How do we pick a team? How do we pick a starting 11? And how do we beat Sheffield United weekend? Well, if you play as a team and don't play the way you did against Brentford, we will get over the line and we will win quite convincingly. But I'm not expecting, this to be, a 4-5-0 win for United. I think Sheffield United are going to look at that vulnerability of the back four. They're going to look at the vulnerability of that midfield, and they're going to look at the vulnerability of the attack. At the moment, Manchester United haven't got any consistency in all three of those positions in that team. And even the goalkeeping situation's a joke as well, because Onana is conceding too many stupid goals from many too stupid mistakes that he is costing Manchester United as our world record goalkeeper signing. Everything at the moment at this club is on a downward spiral. And the problem is that downward spiral, that spiral is only going to get longer and longer. And if that spiral was to break, it all collapses. And I think if United do not win this game, then questions have still got to be made of Ten Hag. Questions still have got to be made of this squad and these players. And I think questions long term have got to be, what is the bloody plan? Because I look at the squad and I look at the players unavailable. You've already got Malacia out long term, Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. If Reguilon ain't fit and Martinez and Varane ain't fit, and you're still playing Amrabat at left back, and you're still playing Mount in the team, and you're still putting Fernandes on the right wing. Where does Garnacho fit in? Where does Sancho fit in? Does Højlund still start at an international break for Denmark after playing San Marino? Do United risk putting all the players that feature on the international break straight into the team? I think questions have got to be asked that United are going to have to go with a strong team. Questions need to be asked if you don't beat Sheffield United. I completely agree. If United cannot beat Sheffield United, there have got to be big questions made by the whole fan base and these supporters about what is the aim for this bloody football club, because the uncertainty surrounding the ownership and the injuries, that's no excuse. All of that should have been sorted. Our medical department have got a lot of answers and a lot of questions have to be made of what the hell is going on. Like, honestly, what is going on? Because the amount of injuries we've got is a joke. The medical department at this club should be at the very best, and we're not the very best. We are mid-table of fitness. I mean, Bournemouth have got a fit squad, so have Burnley, so have Luton. Our players, it's Martinez, Varane, Reguilon, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Malacia. Do you think Man United and Bristol will both win on the weekend? Time will tell if both teams will win. If you can't beat Sheffield United, you're not going to beat Luton. Exactly. This is going to be another tough game. I'm not going to say that United are going to go to Bramall Lane and do what Newcastle did. I mean, Newcastle that day against Sheffield United were bloody phenomenal. I could not believe Sheffield United lost 8-0, but they did have good chances on goal. They did have chances to put Newcastle away, and they didn't take them. I think losing key quality players like Sander Berg, who was a Sheffield United player last season, went to Championship champions Burnley. That shouldn't have been allowed to happen. Billy Sharp is on the decline and is no longer going to play for the club after this season. You've then got the striker situation. They let that Ndiaye, who used to play for them, has now gone to Marseille. Sheffield United have not solved their problems when they came up from the Championship. I mean, no disrespect to the Championship. You've got a lot of shit teams in that division who are never going to make the Premier League. Let's be truthful about it. A lot of teams in that league are not good enough to make the Prem. There's only a few good choice ones that have actually got any Premier League experience and any Premier League credential to come up to this division and survive. Paul Heckingbottom should have been sacked after that 8-0 defeat. I couldn't understand why the board didn't sack him from Sheffield United. I mean, that is delusional ownership. That if you're losing 8-0 to Newcastle, that's bloody sackable. I mean, that is massively, massively sackable. And I think at the moment, I look at that Sheffield United team and where is the quality? There's a lot of Championship players in that team that played for their club last season, have come up to the Premier League and they're getting whooped because they've got no Premier League experience. They've got no quality in that team. And basically, the two best players they had last season are no longer at the club. And Sheffield United got money from them, but didn't seal the signings permanently. And the problem is, if you don't replace the players that go, you are going to struggle to stay in a position. Maybe you're more confident for Bristol City than a Man United win, right? Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I am at the moment more confident that Bristol City could do a win over a United. Yeah, absolutely. At this moment in time, I feel more confident in Bristol City's form than what Man United are. Man United are all over the place. It's very up and down. And of course, there is a Coventry player that plays in Sheffield, and that's Gustavo Hamer. Yeah, Gustavo Hamer has actually had a very good start in that Sheffield United team. I mean, that was a good little bit of business that Sheffield United did do. I don't know if they signed him in the summer or did they sign him in January. I'm not 100% sure, but he's been a good player for them. And he did score that goal against Tottenham, and he did take his goal very, very well. But the problem is, yet again, if we're looking at that from a point of view, Coventry really should have kept Gustavo Hamer, should have kept Gorkarez. Both ended up at Sporting Lisbon and Sheffield United. Both bad career moves to both of them, where both of them could really have stayed at Coventry and got Coventry up to the promised land this season. I'm not saying Coventry are going to come up, by the way. I still think there's a chance they can, if they can make the playoffs, or can they push that automatic promotion spot. Time will tell what happens in the Championship. But I think Gustavo Hamer at the moment is probably Sheffield United's best player on paper based on the goals, his form and his quality that he's got. I mean, he can provide moments of greatness that Sheffield United fans can be happy with. I mean, that goal against Tottenham would have done his goal and his atmosphere and his confidence and mentality very, very good. No, what I mean is Bristol City will not most likely beat Coventry, then Man United beat Sheffield United. Yeah, you're probably right there. At the moment, I can't trust United. I think the whole trust from me's gone. I think the respect from me's gone for the club. I don't trust anyone inside this football team at all. The only person I trust at the moment in this process is our manager and Eric Ten Hag. And Eric Ten Hag's under huge pressure, by the way. If we're looking at this weekend, if you don't beat Sheffield United, is Ten Hag the right manager? Because if the rumours are true tonight and come out from James Ducker from the Telegraph tonight on Twitter that the Sir Jim Ratcliffe ownership isn't going to be sealed by this week, which I'm happy for. I don't want Sir Jim Ratcliffe anywhere near his club or owning a minority stake for 25% to keep the Glazers here. Maybe there's still a chance for the Qataris to come back in. And there's a rumour that they're not 100% out from buying the football club. You never know. They might come back in if they give the Glazers what they want. And for me, I think they should have done it. If they were serious about buying this club, they should have given the Glazers what they want and sold the club, and the Glazers would have been gone. That is what could have happened. And maybe the Glazers will get desperate because that's not going to help Ten Hag. He's going to look at this situation behind the scenes, and so will the players, and so will this squad, and so will the coaches. And from the fans and supporters' point of view, we are feeling confident of a win. I hope we are anyway, that we can get 3 points this weekend. Manchester United have got to win. But with all the uncertainty regarding the ownership and any injuries, the Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Qataris, is anyone feeling any confidence behind the scenes from a fan and supporter point of view that Man United are going to get back to the best? I absolutely don't think we will. I think Man United are going to end up bloody scraping the barrel again. I mean, we should not be doing that as a football club. We should not be scraping the barrel against teams like Sheffield United, and we should be doing it against Brentford. Manchester United should be putting these bloody teams away. And it's embarrassing. As a Man United fan, you would expect Man United to get these wins easy and the results have already been concluded before the match ball is kicked. But at the moment, with all the uncertainty, how can anyone trust that club to produce what we want and what we're asking for? That is the big question I have got for everyone in this fan base and supporters, because not enough has been done to force the Glazers out. Let's all be honest. And I think the players aren't stupid. The squad ain't stupid. They're going to look at all the news on social media. They're going to look at everything going on with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. They're going to look at everything going on with the Qataris. I think the Qataris are going to come back in and give the Glazers what they want. I'm praying that happens, by the way. I don't think it will, but I'm praying it might. But it isn't going to help Ten Hag this weekend, because if the rumours are true again, there is no money to spend. What the fuck's going to happen in January? We will do nothing. And if it's true we haven't got no money to spend next summer, we're fucking screwed. We are absolutely screwed between a rock and a hard place. It's like a frog trying to make out with a wet rock. Honestly, it's bloody embarrassing. We are basically screwing ourselves up for next season as well. Before we've even kicked a ball next season, we're already screwing our season up before we even kicked a ball. I mean, Ten Hag is under huge pressure, not just to keep his job, but to get United climbing up that league table. Because you should have beat Tottenham, you should have beat Arsenal, you should have really beat Crystal Palace and Brighton, both at home. You should have beat Galatasaray. That's 5 games already out of 12 we've played already this season that we've not won. We've nearly gone 7 or 8 games without a consistent winning run. That's bloody embarrassing. And Ten Hag's going to look at this squad, because if the rumours are true as well, that Casemiro has picked up a badly swollen ankle playing for the Brazil national team on international break, then why the fuck has he been included in? Like, why can't United say no to certain countries calling their players up to represent them? I'm sorry. For me, it's club over country. I would never play for England. I would never represent them, because we've got a shit manager, shit coaches, a shit bunch of players that always bottle it. And people are absolutely milking the Italy result, by the way, from yesterday when we won 3-1. Basically, thanks to Marcus Rashford and Harry Kane rescuing us again. And defensively, England is still shit. But United have got to start putting their foot down. We need a fully fit squad. We need a bloody winter break, and we need these players to come back from injury. If we've got no Martinez and we've got no Varane for this weekend, we all know who's going to be playing at centre-back. It'll be Harry Maguire and it'll be bloody Victor Lindelof, or maybe even Johnny Evans gets included as well. Because that back four ain't balanced. We've got no Malacia. We've got no Luke Shaw, who are long-term absences now, which has been confirmed and it's true. If Reguilon ain't fit, who was meant to be the saviour for the left-back role because Malacia and Luke Shaw are both crap anyway, and both massively injury-prone, how are you meant to trust Reguilon when he's injured as well? And the problems with Reguilon, he's one of my favourite players, right? He's having to play most of this games for United because he knows Luke Shaw ain't there. He knows Malacia ain't there. We need Reguilon back at left back to balance that back four. Because what happens then? If you don't have Reguilon at left back, you've then got no left back. Alvaro Fernandez was sent on loan to bloody Granada. I would rather call him back than have bloody either Diego Dalot or even worse, Johnny Evans at left back. I mean, that could be a bloody nightmare waiting to happen because those Sheffield United wingers will expose Johnny Evans and bloody Alvaro Fernandez. And that's the problem I've got. We need this squad back fully fit, not just from internationals, but from the injuries we've got. But the problem is if they're long-term absences, fucking forget it. You might as well end and void the season because United are not going to get anywhere with this bunch of players. Everyone is milking the Brentford win. There was nothing special against Brentford. We were saved by bloody Scott McTominay. And everyone's milking it like it was a great win and a great result to hopefully kickstart our season. That is not going to kickstart our season. We are papering over the cracks yet a bloody again. And it's not fucking good enough. If we're papering over the cracks, you might as not bother competing. If you're Manchester United, you should be aiming to win every fucking game. And when you can't do that and you're milking the Brentford win, it is embarrassing. From a fan and supporter point of view, you have to call yourself out. If there are Man United fans and supporters that think that Brentford win was great, open your fucking eyes because we all rescued because of Scott McTominay. Like, really? We are milking Sheffield United win like it was great. Like, honest to God, like, what are we doing as a bloody football club? We're relying on Scott McTominay, who Ten Hag does not fucking want. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable. Scott McTominay better not be playing Saturday. He ain't fucking good enough. And everyone's saying, oh, look at the great free kick he took for Scotland on international break when Spain beat Scotland. Yeah, it went in the net but was disallowed for offside because the Scotland player was interfering with play. Scott McTominay is a BTEC bloody Fred. He shouldn't be anywhere near that team. And I can justify when Ten Hag doesn't pick him because he's crap anyway. I'm sorry, but if Ten Hag's having to rely on that, then you've got a feel for the manager. If you've got a manager here that has been two hands tied behind his back, being told what certain players to pick, being told what players to go with from the start, and what players should be benched on a regular basis, then how can you trust Ten Hag to turn this bloody ship around, which has been sinking for this whole season already? How can you trust that when Ten Hag is being bossed and told what to do? How can you trust anyone? This is not Ten Hag's fault. And people, even rival fans who I'm a friend saying, this is down to Ten Hag, the mess they're in. They're always blame the bloody Glazers. Yeah, because the Glazers have always been the fucking problem. They put us in debt. We're nearly 969 million bloody pounds in debt, which is a fucking disgrace. We've got ownership that's a joke, a board that is incompetent, and we rejected an 8 billion bid from the Qataris to turn this fucking sinking ship around. No wonder we're screwed. And then you're getting Sir Jim Ratcliffe in to work alongside the Glazers in a 25% minority stake. And he's already said there's no money in January and there's no money next summer. Well, God fucking help United then, because we're going to get dicked again. It's the circle of life at Man United because you're meant to be banking on this Premier League season that United are going to go on this long winning run and produce a winning consistency. How can you do that? You can't trust anyone. No one in that club can stand up and say, oh, we can be trusted. We're the right ones to turn this around. Ten Hag's the only guy that can do it. And he's the only guy that can be trusted because I've lost trust for these players. After what I've seen so far this season, I wasn't convinced against Brentford. It was a joke against Galatasaray, not to get me started on that. And then you should have beat Tottenham, and you should have beat Arsenal and Brighton and Palace. Like, the amount of games United could have won this season's a joke. And we're basically scraping the barrel with mid-table bloody Everton. I mean, even Luton are there near us now. I mean, bloody Luton Town, who have come up to the Prem, and everyone has basically slated and said they're not going to stay up in the Premier League. They're going to get relegated. They've got no chance of securing Premier League football. Well, number one, they're not in the bottom three. Number two, they're fourth from bottom, and they're not fighting relegation. So, you know, Luton are going to end up getting past Manchester United at some point if things don't start turning around. Like, if you don't, you know, pick a strong team against Sheffield United and we lose, that's another 3 winnable points gone. United have got to start finding consistency, and those players have got to start producing, because otherwise that team, some of those players need to look at themselves and maybe January look for a move, leave the club and do one. I mean, if the club's on about being ruthless, then I'm sorry, then Maguire needs to be sold in January. So does Scott McTominay and Jadon Sancho as well. Don't you dare, Man United, even think about sending Sancho on loan. He needs to be sold permanently. You need to stop asking overreacting prices for players that are not worth the fee. I'm sorry, Jadon Sancho is not worth more than 45 million. And that has got to be the limit. If someone offers 40, sell him. If Scott McTominay, someone offers 30, take it. If someone offers 30 for Maguire, take it. Because at the moment, those players are the ones that are letting United down, because we could have done with Sancho, because Antony doesn't look fit, doesn't look ready to return. Garnacho is in and out of this team all the time, and has mostly been left on the bench due to an inconsistent, poor Marcus Rashford. You've then got no Sancho. You've got Palestri, who's crap anyway, and can't even get in the Uruguay national starting lineup because he's always on the bench because he's not good enough. It's the same for Ahmad, always injured, always picks up an injury. Oh, look how great he had a season at Sunderland. He's going to rip the Premier League apart. Yeah, he's going to rip the Premier League apart especially when he's been mostly in the bloody hospital wing at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, healing his injury again. I mean, United have hardly got a squad available for Saturday due to the players I've said that are out injured. Like, Reguilon does need to play. I don't care if he's not fit. He's going to have to fucking play. It has to be at Delo at right back because we've got no Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's probably going to end up being Lindelof and maybe Varane at a push. But Varane was out against Brentford due to another bloody injury. I mean, if it doesn't rain, it pours. You've got your two number one first choice centre-backs out injured. You've basically gone back to Magaluf again. You've gone back to Ralph Rangnick and Ollie. I mean, it is embarrassing. That is fucking embarrassing that you've gone back to those two shits. It is unfucking believable. And it is so fucking sad that United are still relying on Deadwood shit to get them through the mill. It is embarrassing. You should not be using those players. They are crap. I'm sorry. We've seen on too many occasions, not just this season, but last season and season before, they are not good enough. You want to have the best of the very best. You start them against Sheffield United, we're screwed because they can't chase a high ball. They can't choose a high line. And defensively, they're both crap. And they haven't got Luke Shaw there. They haven't got Malacia there. And don't even think about putting bloody Amrabat at left back because that is an unbalanced back four. And what we did see against Brentford was the back four a lot more balanced because he did play Delo, he did play Lindelof, he did play Johnny Evans, and he did play Harry Maguire. He had to because Ten Hag has got no choice to because Varane is injured again and Martinez is going to be out for till bloody Christmas. We haven't got players that Ten Hag deep down needs. He hasn't got them. And people wonder why United are so shit. Well, maybe look at the players he's picking and look at the players that he wants to pick are not available due to either injury or suspension. And people blame, Varane and Martinez. Yeah, you should be keeping yourselves a lot more fit. I completely agree. But because Ajax and Real Madrid saw Man United coming for both players and Man United overpaid, we brought them and we're now stuck with them. And that's the big problem. We are stuck with injury-prone players that should not be anywhere near this club anymore. I'm sorry. It is about time this football club starts getting ruthless. I'm sorry. If I was manager, I'd be calling this out. I'd be telling Reguilon and Varane and Martinez and Shaw and Malaysia and Wan-Bissaka and Ahmad, we need you fit. I don't care if you're not 100%. I fucking need you. Have you seen what we've got left with? Have you seen the performances? Have you seen how shit we've been? Because at the moment, if you've got all them unavailable, which they are, we ain't got them all Saturday, which is a blow. Varane's going to have to, at a push, he might start, but it would not surprise me in the slightest that the back four is Delo, Maguire, Lindelof, and at a push, it's probably going to have to be Reguilon. I hope it's going to be Reguilon. But if Reguilon ain't fit, we are going to have the worst outcome possible. Maguire, Johnny Evans and Lindelof all in the same team. God help us. As for the midfield three, like at the moment, does Christian Eriksen need to come back in for Mount? Because Mason Mount can't get in the England squad. Basically prove why, because he's crap. Shouldn't be in this Man United team. Shouldn't be in the Man United midfield at all. Hasn't improved us at all. Isn't giving performances that Man United fans are blind to. And is basically just a 2.0 Nemanja Matic. And people are absolutely raving about him that he's been brilliant since he's come here. Yeah, he's got 1 assist in nearly 12 games. That's really good consistency from a Chelsea reject, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's absolutely mind-boggling, isn't it? That, you know, there's certain fans in this fan base that rate these crap players and then they blame the great players for the problems. Yeah, I mean, look around you with the shit they've got with. Look at the shit they've got to play with some of these great players. Look at the crap they're stuck with. Look at the crap they don't want here. Maybe look at the bigger picture that half these players should not be Manchester United footballers. It's an absolute disgrace. So that's the bigger picture. Maybe, you know, Casemiro, we all know, isn't going to be available for the Tuesday night game against FC Copenhagen because he got himself sent off against Galatasaray due to Onana's mistake that cost us 2 other goals and we lost the game, which we should not have lost to. So maybe we don't risk Casemiro, and especially knowing that he picked that knock up, he's picked that knock up from Brazil international duty, has swollen his fucking ankle up, and it's screwed him over. I mean, the amount of injuries we've got. Another one is Casemiro, who, you know, is, for me, in my opinion, the best CDM in the Premier League. There is no debate. He's better than Rodri by a fucking mile. He's better than Declan Rice by a bloody mile. Absolute delusional if people think that those two CDMs are better than Casemiro. It is an absolute joke. Go and look at the wall. Go and look at the career Casemiro has had over Declan Rice. And, to be honest, Rodri. Go and look at the mirror and have a hard on look at the success Casemiro's had compared to either of those two. Because Casemiro beats them 10 times over. And without him, United ain't got no CDM. So maybe if we haven't got Casemiro available, it may be a chance for Amrabat there. Because, you know, Amrabat is being deployed at left back because of Reguilon, Shaw and Malaysia's injury. He's not a left back. He's not a left back by trade. He was brought in to improve the midfield. And has he been played in the midfield? Once. Against Brentford. And it's very frustrating from a United fan that Amrabat, we've had all this hype, all this praise and all this hope that he's going to be the predecessor to Casemiro. It's going to be the future for our midfield. He's been brought in and has been deployed at left back more than the midfield role. He's even said himself he wants to be. He's a fucking midfielder. That isn't Amrabat's fault. I am not blaming Sofiane. He's one of my favourite United players. But when you're playing deployment at left back to the injury problems, Ten Hag again has got no choice because he hasn't got better players there to put there because he knows he hasn't got the options. So, if Casemiro's unfit, and this could cause major problems, by the way, because if you do put Amrabat at left back, who the fuck is playing at CDM? Well, the only problem that could be is Scott McTominay comes in, which would be not bloody surprising based on his 2 Brentford goals. I mean, come on. If Scott McTominay is starting in that midfield against Sheffield United on Saturday, I'm going to bloody cry. He does not deserve to be in that United team at all. Not based on the 2 goals in the last game. Not based on his international goal scoring record for Scotland, trying to be the greatest goal scorer of all time. And no disrespect to the Scotland national team, The only reason Scott McTominay plays for them is because him and John McGinn and Andy Robertson at a push when he's not injury prone are probably the 3 best Scottish players because the rest of them are shit. That's the only reason Scott McTominay gets picked. And he should not be picked for Man United based on international and appearances and goals and scrappy late winners. I'm sorry. Amrabat is 10 times the player McTominay has, or always has been, and has been a Premier League great for previous Premier League clubs. So there's no reason why not. Amrabat does not start. I would not be starting McTominay. I'm sorry. He's not the answer to the United midfield problems. And United have still got midfield problems. We know we can't rely on Bruno forever. We know we can't rely on Casemiro and Mount and Eriksen. I mean, Eriksen had a good international break with Denmark. They beat San Marino 2-1, and Rasmus Højlund got another goal. And Rasmus Højlund and Eriksen got the assist the previous week, last Friday evening, in a qualifier. So maybe Eriksen comes in for Mount, or maybe Mount still picks his place. I think if Mount is still playing Saturday, and he does play in that midfield 3 with Bruno Fernandes and maybe Amrabat, if Casemiro is not fully fit, then maybe Eriksen, if Eriksen's not in that team, then there's got to be questions about why the hell did we sign him? Like, he's Eriksen yet again. He's one of my favourite players. He's done a lot for this club since we signed him. But should he be in this team over Mason Mount? 110%. I'm sorry. Mason Mount is not a Manchester United player. Not a bloody chance he is. He's not good enough. And that is what really frustrates me, that we've brought too many players that from ex-reject clubs, we've signed them thinking they're going to turn this United team into a bloody fortress and we're going to be unbeatable. It simply doesn't work like that. And the problem is with that, when you've got players like that, it makes a team worse. I mean, sponsored by Manscaped, trim the squad to make the team look better, trim the team to make the spirit look better. I mean, if you take Mason Mount out of that team, we're so much better. I mean, Eriksen was brilliant against Galatasaray when he came on, and he was actually very good against Brentford when he came on when we won 2-1 in our last Premier League home game. So, based on form and based on appearances and based on credentials, I think Eriksen should have the chance to start. But yet again, I think Ten Hag will pick Casemiro, and it will be Fernandes, and it'll be Mount because that is his preferred midfield 3. But then again, he might then, yet again, which is really the only thing that annoys me about Ten Hag, is we seem to be playing 4 midfielders in the team, and we don't need to play 4. We traditionally need to play 3. And the problem is, when you play 4, you're playing one of them out of position. You're either playing them at left back or on the right wing. I think Reguilon hopefully will be fit, and he will play. I think Amrabat is probably going to start if Casemiro is not fit. I'm hoping that injury to Casemiro is not bad. But I don't want Fernandes on that right wing again because it doesn't work. And Ten Hag still keeps persisting with it. That is the only thing that really, gets me annoyed, is that Bruno Fernandes is a world-class midfielder. And for me, he's the best midfielder in the Premier League at the moment by a bloody mile. I think he's better than De Bruyne. I think he's better than Odegaard. I think he's better than Rodri. I think he's the best midfielder in the Premier League by an absolute mile based on form and trophies and based on consistency and based on assists he's got and the goals he's got for Manchester United. I think he's better than anyone. And I think at the moment, playing him on the right wing, Ten Hag has got to stop persisting with it because it doesn't work. But the problem is Ten Hag doesn't rate Pellistri. I don't think Pellistri should be given a new contract. Pellistri is not the answer for United's right wing problems, and people need to realise it. And then you've got another issue. Ahmad is still injured. I don't think Ahmad's going to be in that squad Saturday. He's only just hinting at a return on his socials. So Ahmad ain't going to be there. We all know the situation with Sancho. We all know Sancho is not going to be in that team anyway. He's still being disciplined because he hasn't apologised for throwing his toys out the pram and acting like a little 5-year-old baby. And Sancho's attitude really fucking stinks. It smells more than a bad fart. We all know he's going to end up having to put Fernandes there because, even Garnacho, what's going on with Garnacho? Can't get an Argentine international team. And at the moment, at Manchester United, he's in and out. And the problem is why he's in and out is because he can't play on the right wing because he's not a right winger. And the only position he is comfortable in is when he's on the left. And he did have an impact against Brentford. He was probably one of our key players to making, those situations happen. But Rashford's in that team based on United have branded him. United is one of the main players that they brand the club over. He sells the most shirts. He sells the most merchandise, and probably he set interaction on social media. That is the only reason why Marcus Rashford is in that Man United team, and it is embarrassing. He shouldn't be based on that. He shouldn't be in the team for that. Marcus Rashford should be in that team based on form and consistency. If anyone's got any credentials or anyone's got any balls, someone has got to tell Marcus, you are being coming in for you, and we're going to try something different. Marcus Rashford, the reason why Rashford got that goal for England against Italy was down to the superb brilliance of Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham, for me, is the best player in the world at the moment, based on his goals for Real Madrid, his form for Real Madrid, and what he did for England. He was probably the man of the match award, and he did get it. That's the only reason why Rashford got that goal, by the way. So Rashford shouldn't be starting over that one goal. Rashford should be starting on merit and effort and goals and assists for this club. If he's not going to do it, someone needs to tell him on the quiet side that you're being dropped, mate. And Liverpool do 6-7-4. So Sancho needs to watch Superman, because that show is all about toddlers and young children with temper troubles. Exactly. Completely and utterly agree. Very good point there, and very good point from one of our managing moderators that Sancho has thrown his toys out the pram. He's acting like a little baby. He needs to grow the fuck up. Stop playing FIFA on YouTube or EA Sports FC24, whatever you want to call it, and get back to playing for United and start showing some bloody consistency, because we could have done with the moment. And I think Sancho is best for all parties that he leaves. That's the debate on Sancho, and we're going to leave that talking point there. So, yeah, I think Rashford has to be dropped to Saturday. I wouldn't be starting him based on one England game. No chance. So, for me, I would be starting Garnacho. Højlund, yet again, is showing the world-class ability. I mean, loads of people said, Man United spent so much money on Højlund. Look at the amount of money they paid for Højlund, and look what he's not done for the club. Yeah. He's, at the moment, joint top goal scorer of our club, has solved the goal-scoring problem, has solved the goal-scoring issue, and people still saying he's overrated, overhyped, and he's not going to do much. You need to stop comparing Haaland to Højlund. Højlund will get to Haaland's level. He just needs time to adapt. And I think, his 2 Champions League goals against Galatasaray, he is clearly adapting, and he's adapting very quick, and he's learning very quick as well. So that's another positive for United. And I think United have got an absolute world-class striker there who is going to take the global world football by storm, and he's going to be one of the best strikers in European football. I think a lot of people are going to be proved wrong by his talent, and he's also up for the Golden Boy Award of the Ballon d'Or ceremony. So I think a lot of people need to zip their views about Højlund and, the criticism and the unbiased crap. Højlund is going to be starting for United because we haven't got another striker. Martial ain't going to start because we all know Martial's injury prone. And that's the problem. We've got no other striker apart from those two. God forbid if Højlund was to pick up an injury, we would then be stuck with Martial, which would be... let's not even go there. We would be in massive, massive trouble. So there's the United team in full. Let me know your views and thoughts on what the United team's going to be. I'm hoping we're going to win. I'm hoping that will be the team. And, maybe Veranda's start. Maybe Martinez comes back in. Maybe Reguilon comes in. Maybe we pick the same back four against Brentford. But if we do go with the same team against Brentford, I think it's going to be another tricky game. I don't think this is going to be as easy as 1-2-3. This is going to be a tough game for Manchester United. But the vulnerability of Sheffield United is mad. I can't believe how crap they are. I can't believe how poor they've been since they've come back up to the Premier League. I think if Sheffield United were an ambitious football club and had a proper board managing the club and a board and owners doing their job at their football club, Sheffield United would have made a big decision and sacked Paul Heckingbottom, because he's a very crap manager. His tactics are woeful. And if you're losing 8-0 to Newcastle, that is bloody sackable. That is immediately you're being sacked, because that is not ambition to keep a manager who's just lost 8-0, who could have broke a Premier League goal scoring record for Newcastle. I mean, they ripped that Sheffield United team apart. And, the injury to Chris Basham, like I said earlier, we all wish him a full and speedy recovery, because it was a really nasty injury. And from a Man United fan, I wish him a full and speedy recovery, because it was a nasty injury. I've had injuries in the past that have kept me out for ages, and I've had problems with my health and fitness. And I think we all wish Chris Basham a full and speedy recovery from that injury. I hope we'll see him back on the pitch very soon in a Sheffield United shirt. From a Man United fan, I hope that goes out to him. But yeah, I think Sheffield United are going to get a heavy drubbing. What do I think is going to happen? I'm going to go for a 4 or 5-0 Manchester United win. Let's hope that happens. So I hope you enjoyed this preview. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit that retweet button. Remember to always remember to put that notification bell on at all times so you receive dedicated content right throughout the last few months in 2023 on United Red Devils 20. We've got more Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 4 Last Resort, Rocket League Season 12 Porsche, EA Sports FC 24 content as well. More previews, more match reactions. We've got the January transfer window coming up in 3 months as well, so that's going to be interesting if United do anything. And then please join me for the reaction on Saturday evening between Sheffield United and Manchester United on match day of the 23-24 Premier League season. Hopefully, it's a Manchester United win. Hopefully, it's 3 points. And can we make it back-to-back Premier League wins? Only time will tell. Let's see where that Man United team are at Saturday evening at Bramall Lane. But maybe we can do a Newcastle and put 8 or 9 past them. Let's see what happens. So enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend coming up as well. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.